Welcome to a journey through time, to a land where ancient civilizations once thrived. Today we delve into the mysteries of a legendary structure that has fascinated humanity for centuries, the Tower of Babel. In the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers nourished early civilizations, there stood a city whose name has echoed through the annals of history, Babylon. Central to this city was a structure that has captivated the imagination of scholars and believers alike. The Tower of Babel. The story of this tower, found in the book of Genesis, tells of humanity's ambition to build a tower that reached the heavens, an ambition that led to their downfall. But what if this story isn't just confined to the Bible? What if the tale of the Tower of Babel is a thread that weaves through the fabric of many ancient cultures? The story of the Tower of Babel appears in Genesis 11, verses 1 to 9. It describes how humanity, united by a single language, sought to make a name for themselves by constructing a tower that would reach the heavens. But God, seeing their pride and ambition, confused their language and scattered them across the earth, halting their construction. This story is often interpreted as an allegory of human pride and divine retribution, but it also serves as an explanation for the diversity of languages. The narrative is set in the post-flood world, a time when Noah's descendants began to repopulate the earth. This period corresponds to the rise of the Sumerians, Akkadians, and other early civilizations in Mesopotamia, a region that has long been considered the cradle of civilization. The Bible is not the only ancient text that speaks of a great tower or a confusion of languages. In fact, several other cultures have their own versions of this story, suggesting that the Tower of Babel may be a reflection of a common cultural memory. One of the most striking parallels comes from the Sumerian myth of Enmerkar and the Lord of Arata. In this myth, Enmerkar, the king of Uruk, seeks to build a massive ziggurat, an ancient Mesopotamian temple tower in his city. However, his plans are thwarted by the god Enki, who confuses the languages of the people, making it impossible for them to complete the tower. This story, much like the Tower of Babel, highlights the theme of divine intervention in human affairs and the consequences of hubris. Beyond Mesopotamia, similar stories can be found in the myths of other ancient cultures. The Greek myth of the Gigantomachy, for instance, tells of giants who attempt to storm the heavens by stacking mountains on top of each other, only to be struck down by Zeus. In Mesoamerican mythology, the Aztecs speak of a time when their ancestors, led by a giant named Zelua, built a great pyramid in Cholula to reach the heavens, but the gods, angered by their audacity, destroyed it with fire. These stories, though separated by vast distances and cultures, share a common motif: the desire to bridge the gap between earth and heaven and the divine punishment that follows. Could these tales be independent inventions, or do they point to a shared human experience, perhaps a memory of a real event or a deeply ingrained cultural anxiety about the limits of human ambition? Transition to modern interpretations. Modern scholars have long debated the origins and meanings of these stories. Some suggest that the Tower of Babel and its parallels are symbolic, representing the dangers of technological or cultural hubris. Others believe that they could be rooted in actual historical events, such as the construction of the great ziggurats of Mesopotamia, which were among the tallest structures of their time and could have inspired such tales. The most famous ziggurat, Etemenanki, dedicated to the god Marduk, stood in Babylon and may have reached as high as 91 meters. Its grandeur and the multilingual population of Babylon could have easily inspired the story of a tower that sought to reach the heavens only to be undone by a divine scattering of languages. Cross-cultural connections. The similarities between the Tower of Babel story and other ancient myths raise fascinating questions about cross-cultural connections in the ancient world. Could these stories have spread along trade routes, carried by merchants, priests, and scribes, or do they reflect a universal human concern with the consequences of overreaching, a concern that found expression in different ways across different cultures? Today, the story of the Tower of Babel continues to resonate, not only as a tale of divine retribution, but also as a reminder of our shared human heritage, Whether it's a cautionary tale about the limits of human ambition or a reflection of ancient cultural exchanges, the Tower of Babel stands as a symbol of the complex and interconnected history of humanity. As we continue to explore the past, we uncover the threads that connect us all, revealing that, even in our differences, we share a common story. From the deserts of Mesopotamia to the myths of distant lands, the Tower of Babel remains a powerful symbol, a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge and power is a double-edged sword capable of uniting or dividing us. But it also shows that in our shared stories we find the roots of our shared humanity.